I'm Pimma.
I'm Sangye.
And together we are some of the creators, designers, and leaders in Lotus Sky. And today we wanted to do a video to talk a little bit about the origins of how we started with crocheted beadwork bracelets at Lotus Sky.
In the beginning, we only had one store at Bodha, and we used to sell different kinds of art and crafts made out of different materials. And then we had this intern from Sri Mangaldev boarding school, and she once bought us this bracelet, and she showed it to Sarah. So she bought her younger sister Pimma. That's what happened.
After that, I came over Lotus Sky, and that time I was pregnant, and Sarah and me keep on sampling. We start to make the sample.
So we would actually, at that time we didn't know how to read a pattern on a bracelet. So we would draw with nail polish and permanent markers on the bracelet, and then pull it apart, and then read it this way, and then string and crochet. So we didn't really have any context for making these designs. So we just played around with drawing on the actual bracelet itself until 6 months later.
And after that, we training some women, and this city we increase many women on this city.
And that was mainly in your community.
Made in my community, from my community, right? And this city, yes.
How many women did you train?
Maybe 50, 60. More
50,
than
60.
It was the 12 or 14 in a week,
yeah.
or in 2 weeks, and we should just because different weeks. It's okay, if you are coming for training, you are coming for 2 weeks.
And then during that time, there were some people who showed that they could, lead well. So that's why Nima joined us. She was also within the Lomi community as well.
Yeah. For me, that time there is my small baby. It's difficult to me control the all men and training. That time and Sarah and we call Nima. Yeah. Yes. That time in our studio is near to my house, and that Sarah and me work together 1 year at 9 to 5. Yeah. And big dog. And Sarah also enjoying with my baby also. That time.
And the earthquake happened, and it was terrible. All of the buildings were collapsing, and a lot of people were dying. When you walk around, you'll see cans of blood all over the places. It was very terrible. And then at that time, a lot of women or a lot of people, they were not walking. So people were also not living in this in the building, so they were making this handmade tent. People who can afford nice tent, the real one, they would sleep in there. But other people, they were using, what do you call it, tarp? Using plastic tent for staying in it. They were cooking in the plastic tent, and then eating and sleeping everything in there. So a lot of people were jobless. So then Sarah was oh, we need to start making bracelet again. We cannot stop because a lot of people do not have money to buy anything, and so we started training people again. And then a lot of people came in because their husbands were jobless. They most of the Lomi people, their husbands are from trekking background, so they go to trekking, that's how they earn their money. And during earthquake, during earthquake there were no tourists, so without tourists there is no trekking, that's why. And people were doing nothing, so we started giving more bracelet, and then a lot of people came in. That's when we started hitting 120 women. And that's how it started all.
At that earthquake camp, we have know that if we enter the house, studio, there is earthquake check, That's why we went in field and we give training over there. Training.
You kept training in the fields.
Yeah, fields,
right on.
Yeah. It's safe for us now.
Yeah. Because once there was an aftershock, a pretty big one in the studio. I'm laughing only because everyone went running at the same time, and there were these big stairs to go down the road, and it was like that was more dangerous than the aftershock.
And the next day, Sarah was like, Sangye,
We
come,
have
and
to-
but we have to tell everybody that not to run when there is like earthquake. They have to
Practices,
like,
like because there's children in the studio and like they can get trampled, and everyone can't react from like fear. You have to like have a practice. We'll do in a
fell down and then like so 2 people died there, and when I was like, oh okay, there was an earthquake, and everybody was like, oh there's like so, the walls are falling at my brother's school. So I was like, oh, I need to go, and I walked halfway, and I could see all the bloods and then like house flies, so I had to like come back. And
Was your brother
She had to go
okay?
get her brother. She tell about that?
Yeah.
I went there like twice, and like 2 times I have to come back. And
We finally brought him, and he
Uh.
stayed in the
I had a little brother and a sister. Like my sister was safe because like they have this like earthquake training and everything at the school. So I was a little bit concerned about my brother. And then like where there was an earthquake, people were like, oh, at that school the wall fell down. So I went like halfway up to see like halfway. I was like on the road of halfway to like check if my brother is fine. Then like I could see this like wall falling down, and then like there was blood all around that place. So I came back again. And then like the next day I went there again, and the same day we didn't have like any phone like network and any connections. We couldn't call like anybody. Like everybody was like, oh, we cannot call. And that like so we didn't have Wi-Fi then, right? And then like there was a store right next to where we used to live. That store owner was like kind enough. He like closed his store, but like he wrote his like Wi-Fi password in a paper and then like stick that on the shutter. So I had to call like my so one of my brother's teacher on Messenger to check like if he's fine, and they said he's fine. And then like after 2 days I went to school and like brought my brother home. We didn't bring my sister home because like she was safer at the school.
brought to the tent.
Brought to the tent.
So then we were like had bracelets and tents with us, and brother and Sangye and Sarah and other people too.
And then like we also didn't have our own tent. We had to share it with our
We're not
neighbor.
Tibetan, so we don't know how to build a makeshift tent. But luckily,
We had this like Tibetan neighbor who knew how to like they are like very old, old like women and men. They were my neighbor, so they were like, oh, you are like all young, because like we didn't have our parents here, so they were like kind enough, and they had this like big tent, like not tent but like the plastic one that they got it from Tibet. So they made the tent and they took the half part of it, and the other half was in where we were staying.
How old were you at this time?
Like 17, 18, like 17,
Yeah.
18.
How old were
It
your
was in
brother and
April,
sister?
Like small, very small. I don't remember.
And your parents weren't around at this time, right?
But like my sister was safe at the school, and there. She said I used to get lost. And then Sarah is like always lost in the morning when I wake up. Like, even I wake
what
up
you mean by
around 5.
lost is
Like,
I'm not
she
actually
roams around.
lost. Roaming.
And then like we were in this like school, that's a government school, and they had this like big field, and like it's like not like fully like done building. It was like still on progress. So there's this like long steel things hanging in that. But every time there's an earthquake, people are like, look, that's moving. So there's an earthquake, and then like we have to like go to Sarah's house to find her. And then like at that time Sarah was like so kind, like so nice, because like she could also go to Hyatt Regency. It's like one of the 5-star hotels in Nepal. Like they were giving accommodation to all the foreigners, like there were a lot of foreigners who were getting like food, and like they would also like they were sleeping on the alley, and we went there once, and she could have like stayed there, but like she was nice enough, and she said that like she doesn't want to stay there, but like she instead like loved staying with us. And then I told her, and I didn't tell her to look up, but I told her like she should stay at that Hyatt Regency because like they were giving her them like everything, like they had like everything, cornflake, like all kind of like fancy breakfast, but like everyone was like sleeping at the alley with like only the mattress and all. And I told her like she should stay there, but like she came with us instead.
Well, I didn't know when we thought of the name Lotus Sky, like what it would actually mean. It was almost like, what is it called when you see the beach or prescient? That we called ourselves Lotus Sky because the lotus flower is a flower that grows out of mud. And I think so. It's a good metaphor for social enterprise, which is all about creating opportunity in difficult situations. And there might not be, like traditional business has a cohesive model that it comes in and plants down and it's all about profit margin. Social enterprise is about, here's something difficult, how can we work with the situation to flourish and create something beautiful that maybe is even more different, unique than it would have been if it would have been a cookie cutter business model. And I think that obviously like everything we've created now is directly connected to a lot of experiences we've had. The earthquake was a big one. Experiences with women specifically navigating like gender politics and things like that. So we were quite literally in a field in the mud and decided to create bracelets. So it's the name means a lot for that reason, but the name was created prior to the earthquake, so it's just interesting. So at the time there were no supplies coming in or out of Nepal. We had the beads that we already had purchased and the bracelets that we had already made. So in order to train, we actually just cut them apart, pulled them apart, took the beads off and restrung. We took that as an opportunity to do a lot of new patterns actually. Some of our most popular designs and patterns derived from that time frame where we didn't have a lot else to do other than cutting, pulling, recrocheting, training. So after the border reopened, we had about 120 women who were now beadwork crocheters. So this was the opportunity from the business side to create an economy there that would actually support that volume of women and that volume of bracelets. So we turned to the internet.
One of the things that makes Lotus Sky very different from other companies is that we have very high standards on our bracelets. And another is that we promote women from within our team. I came in Lotus Sky as an intern and then I was a supervisor. Now I'm a manager. And now I'm the operation manager at Lotus Sky. All of the women at Lotus Sky is from Nepal except Sarah.
Yes, now I have my own team. Yes.
How many women do you have?
I have 45 women. I have my own business and there are 45 women. They make earrings, necklace, bracelet, and Lotus Sky are getting better, bigger, and women are getting opportunity to help their family. And thank you.
Thank you for listening to our story and supporting Lotus Sky. We hope you like our bracelets and make sure you please tell your friends about our bracelets. Thank you.
Thank you.